make the strings.
What's up, guys? So today we're going to be installing a set of these Bc Racing BR Coilovers onto the 2015 Mustang drift car, which is planning on kind of being my 2018 drift car if I could get it together. But might be driving it this weekend. Not 100% sure, but it's basically Friday night. If we do drive, it's going to be Sunday. But I'm going to go ahead and get these coilovers installed. I know the car is automatic and Ecoboost, but you know, it doesn't hurt to do a couple little mods here and there. And I'm definitely tired of staring at that wheel gap right there, because that's some pretty good wheel gap front and back. So yeah, I have a box on my drift car right now, but I've had the BC Racing, the DS series, which is their digressive shock on my drift car for the past 2 seasons. Before that, I had their BRs on here, which was just a set of used ones that I bought off of eBay. But yeah, so I've been working with BC Racing for the past couple of years, and I really appreciate them sending me over these coilovers for the Mustang, and gonna get this thing looking proper. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing on the lift and start installing them. So I just got everything all unboxed, and so this is what you get in the kit. You get the two front coilover strut shocks or whatever, with the adjustable mounts, camber plates in the top, marked left and right. The adjustable shock in the back, so you could go up and down with the shock, so you have the correct, basically stroked, like the length of the stroke. Some shorter sway bar in links, and then these beastie look, man, these things look like they belong on a truck or something. Those are crazy. Those are impressive looking. But that's how you adjust the ride height in the rear, and then this is how you adjust the ride height in the front. Basically, you loosen this lower collar, and then you don't mess with these ones unless you want to adjust like the preload on the spring. It also comes with BC Racing stickers, warranty card, and a little bit of installation instructions. I mean, I can't believe how pretty that box is. That's a pretty box right there. But yeah, I guess we'll get this thing on the lift and start installing things. So Dave's being filmed, I'm being due, and we're gonna get some stuff done today. Well, for the next 20 minutes. So I was just gonna bust off this this caliper real quick to get so I could actually get to the coilover bolt. That's kind of tight. We'll use the old. Oh wow, that's really tight.
Are you sure you want to be the one working on stuff?
Because Dave wouldn't have had to do that. Should have just been able to do it.
I would just use the impact.
Oh. I don't think the impact would reach. Yeah, we're using Trevor's hydraulic knee.
Tighten?
Dead battery.
No.
Alright, dude's back. Back in action, different tool. Maybe, oh, it's a Loctite.
I was gonna say maybe it's bent.
That's a Loctite. These Mustangs have these nice little caliper shelves right there. That's a pretty big rotor for just being a stock.
Well, when you only use half of it, it has to be huge.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Ooh. Yeah, not deep enough.
Dude's not doing a good job today, guys.
He forgot how to work on cars. It's been too long.
Pretty much.
When was the last time you actually did something?
Yesterday.
What did you do?
I took all the sob stuff outside and I swapped a mirror. That's what I did. Oh wow.
I told you you're getting old.
I need that dead battery.
That's what happens when you get old. Your neck starts hurting when the weather changes.
Yeah. Well. Right.
All the way, you know.
Oh no, that should be fine. That's what I was thinking. ABS sensor. Plugs right in.
Like Mustang ride height. I mean,
It's not bad. That'll probably be perfect. I don't want it too
low, yeah.
So I just got the fronts installed on here, got the sway bar and everything all hooked up. That's definitely a lot different ride height. So these things are kind of preset. I don't know how low they'll be actually once we set it on the ground and get some some weight on it. But yeah, those look nice under there. This back suspension system. So I'm gonna go ahead and install these. Basically, just pop out this little stock thing, and then I'm assuming I just replace the little these little pieces go up in there, and then it just kind of bolts to the bottom like it does right there. So the back should be pretty simple. I guess we'll see how long it takes. Hopefully it's not too crazy, but I think the shock is kind of the thing that's holding the spring in there. And once we get that disconnected, it should kind of let everything droop, and we'll be able to go ahead and disconnect the springs right there. So probably have to let both sides droop at the same time, just because the sway bar won't let one drop down further than the other. So. All right, so the back is actually pretty simple. There's these 2 bolts right here, and then 2 bolts underneath, and you just kind of push it down, and then this whole little shock body kind of comes out of it. So that's pretty cool. And then you basically just grab onto one of these guys. Let's see. Yeah, check this out. So we'll grab onto this guy right here, I can point at us too. Ooh. I can't hold it. Oh, I guess it did. That's not too bad. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty simple, I'd say. Oh, geez. Nice. Alright, so I guess I was doing this whole rear thing wrong all along. So what I need to do, instead of trying to push down the springs or whatever, or the lower control arm, trying to like get it enough to take tension off the spring and let it out, I actually need to lower the rear subframe. So start off by loosening these are two 13mm bolts to this little bracket right here, and then you pretty much loosen one side. I need to support this guy too. I'm just kind of busting him loose right now. So you loosen one side and then you loosen the other side most of the way, but don't actually fully pull them out. And then this side the tension will be relieved off the spring, so then you could actually pull the spring out. So it actually won't take, it'll be a little bit easier than I thought. This is easier than doing the whole tension on the spring thing. So I'm happy that this is the way to do it. And it's so nice having a lift, but if you're doing this at home, you could always do it on the ground with like a floor jack. So since the diff is supported in here, I'll just lift this guy up. Alright, up we go. Okay. I'll loosen this side up a little bit more. Yeah, that guy's almost ready to come out. The other thing we could do is we could play with this guy, I guess. That's what I needed. Is that right there? So now we just have to install these bad boys, which shouldn't be too big of a deal now that everything is on that we need to be on, at least. Nice. Alright guys, so I got the rear coilovers installed, for the rear lowering springs and adjustable things, and yeah, they look pretty nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and lower this puppy down and see what she looks like. Alright guys, so this is how it sits pretty much out of the box. So I didn't adjust anything as far as the settings that they had it on. The front is actually in a decent spot. I really don't want to mess with that a whole lot. That's kind of like two bent finger, kind of pointed up fingers in there. And so that's not bad. I don't want to mess up the fenders, and I also don't want to destroy the front end if I end up going off track or anything. And I would also like to be able to move this thing like on and off the trailer without it being too much of a pain. So yeah, the rear, I kind of wish it was a little bit lower, but I might just leave it. It seems like the rear of this car is pretty low anyhow, like underneath it. And I don't know, maybe I'll pull it outside and do some donuts, see if it settles in just a little bit, but yeah, not too bad. definitely looks a lot better than that other gap. I do kind of want to lower the rear just a little bit so it's even, but those tires are also a little bit shorter than these tires, so it might actually be about the same. Alright, so I decided to go ahead and lower it. So in order to relieve some of the tension off of it, so you could actually twist the springs, you have to basically lower the shock, because the shock kind of keeps it from drooping. So kind of let it droop, and then I put this little thing kind of pushing it down a little bit, and it gives me a little bit of room in there so I could actually bust those things loose without like the full weight of the car doing that. And then so I kind of got the top one set to where I want to go. Hopefully you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. But I'm basically, you just unlock these collars because they're just basically tightened against each other so that they're locked. And basically raising it up to that. I think I'm about a 1/4 inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch away from the top, or like completely like as low as it'll go. If I really wanted to make it like super low, which I'm not going to, you could just take out these collars and basically just kind of let the spring be in there. But so yeah, then basically what you do is you take the little clamps and you lock these guys together. I'm going to do it when there's a little bit of tension, because the bottom one will basically get really tight because there's a bunch of pressure on it, and then I'll just basically lock the top one against it. But yeah, then just kind of release that, and then we'll have to get rid of some of this droop. So basically lift this up against there, and then that'll hold keep everything from drooping and get the shock back hooked up together. So I'm going to do that, and then that's going to be its final ride height, whatever it is. Whether it's well, unless it's too low, but I don't think it's going to be too low. So out with the old and in with the new. Man, doesn't that just look nice? So I don't know how stoked you guys are about this thing as my new drift car, but I'm pretty stoked. I mean, especially seeing it kind of lowered like this. I don't know. I love this car. I don't know. It's so sweet looking now. And to think, this thing was all boogered up and wrecked when I got it, and I don't know. It's definitely gonna need a little bit of paint or wrap or whatever, but let me know what you guys think. I mean, I thought about kind of doing something similar to this, but like black, silver, in blue, or do the front like green, silver, and black, and do the back of it black. That would look kind of cool. But yeah. So I guess the other thing I need to do is I'm going to wait till David gets here, and we'll do a quick little alignment on it. I could definitely tell the rear cambered in a little bit, but one of the things I really like about the coilover versus going with just like a cheap set of like lowering springs is that you could actually adjust it. So you could adjust the height, and you could adjust the dampening. So if you want it to kind of ride like a Cadillac, or if you want it to be like super firm like a damn shopping cart, you know, you could adjust that. So these are like 32-way adjustable. So there's like 32 clicks of adjustment. So you could really dial in the car. One of the other things that would work really good is if, let's say in the rear it had too much grip, or I felt like I wasn't able to get it to like kick out as easy, I could just like firm it, like make the dampening a little bit firmer, and you know, the ass end or whatever of it will kick out a little bit easier, and it won't have as much grip. I don't know, I think one of like the simplest things you could do to your car is actually like lowering it. I mean, it just like makes you fall in love with it like all over again. So if you guys have like an old daily driver or something, like you lower that thing, you just look at it in a whole different light. I mean, I feel like it's almost like taking the car's virginity and you know, making it your own. So I'm gonna go drive it around the parking lot now. All right, so now that these things are all installed, let's do some donuts. Let's see how they do. feels nice donuts. It definitely feels a little bit like, feels stiffer and like less body roll, enough to where you can do like tighter donuts. I don't know if you guys remember before when I did donuts, this thing was kind of a handful, but yeah, it feels good. I'm excited to see what it kind of will do this weekend. So I guess now Dave's not coming for a little while, so now I need to kind of pull it in, and I want to do a few other little mods to it. I want to see if I could, so you guys can see me. I want to pull it in and then try to do like a handbrake extension to it. See if I could get the handbrake to be a little bit easier to pull up, because right now it's kind of short. All right, so that thing I was telling you guys about the e-brake, I just want to show you how hard it is. I'll show you guys how it feels in here trying to drift this thing with the e-brake, kind of how it is. And then this thing just tells me all kinds of things on the dash all the time. It's like constantly angry. Hopefully you guys can see that boost gauge too. I think that's pretty rad that it's a factory. It just feels nice backing out. It's got that nice like dunk, not dunk, but like it's got that nice coilover feel, like you're riding in a race car. All right, so I'm gonna do a little e-brake rip right here, up into this corner. Basically, just rip it. So have you guys seen that? It's not that easy to pull. We'll do another one real quick, so you guys can see down there a little bit better. Yeah, so basically I put this thing in sport mode and I kind of tap it down so it's in like number 1. You give it a little bit of a flick. All right, so that's just a simple kind of, 180 turn. Like my issue is gonna be when we're at the track and I'm basically trying to initiate, and instead of doing like a 180-degree turn, you're basically doing kind of like a 45, or maybe like 60-degree going around a corner, where you want to kind of e-brake, set the angle, and then power through it. I feel like that's going to be a little bit complicated. I'm probably going to have to be doing like some flicking things, but man, the traction control, none of that stuff works anymore because I have all the ABS sensors unplugged. But yeah, so basically what I want to try and do is pull out the center console and then look at this, basically this little e-brake right here, and put some sort of an extension on it and try to get it a little bit further out here and maybe like a little bit more up, basically so that way I have more leverage on it, because I don't have that much leverage on it right now. All right, so I got a bunch of bolts loose out of here. Basically there's these two screws right here, there's 2 right here, and then 2 back here, and then 2 on the other side. So it looks like this thing kind of lifts up now. I don't know what's up with this, because it definitely seems attached. It's attached. I guess you just pull it back, or up, or something. I don't know. Doesn't want to come out. I don't know. I'll get back with you. All right. So what I figured out is this. So I went ahead, and it's basically just this top piece that comes off of this. It's not the whole console itself. So it's basically held in with just like a bunch of little snap things, so you have to like pull it up. Because I've seen these 2 screws right here, and it was all attached to this, but then I seen it was like clipped in. So that was kind of a learning process or whatever. This right here, this plug goes to the key thing that tells you whether or not there's a key in there or not. But yeah, the other thing is it has this little thing from the factory, and it holds this little lever open. And so what I did is I just kind of pried it to the side and like bent it out so that you could just pull it straight up and not have to deal with anything. I had this little piece of square tubing laying around. This is basically the same thing I have in the BMW. So if you stick that on, that's almost like the perfect length. It's almost a little bit too long, but before you couldn't really pull this thing all the way up, but now you could like yank that thing like all the way to the back, and you know, pretty much to its limit. So there is a little bit of slop in the cable. Maybe if I looked underneath the car, there's like a e-brake adjustment or something, I could pull a little bit of that slack out, because that, I mean, that little bit, you know, might help out. So the other thing is in order to have the console in here, this little e-brake thing needs to like kind of go up. So I think maybe what I'll do is I'm just going to chop this, and then I could either just leave this on here. There's like a little hole going through it right there, and I could just run a like a bolt through that. I could almost even just put like a nut cert in it, and then just run like a little bolt straight through that and just bolt it down on this guy. And then the other thing I could do is I could just leave this square tubing here, and maybe even prop it up and put like a like an actual like bar instead of like this square tubing thing. So that's kind of the option so far, but I'm just gonna try to do that real quick. It's, you know, it's easily reversible, especially if I just bolt that on. Then basically to get the e-brake back, all you got to do is slip this thing in here, and then pull the, you know, put that little tension thing on it again so that the spring has tension, and then we'd be good to go. We got an OEM Mustang again, ready for the car lot. Alright guys, so I got a hydro e-brake, not a hydro e-brake, it's a random e-brake. It's not the prettiest thing. It was basically just like a 5-minute job. Basically just cut this thing, kind of welded, well, cut it in kind of a V, bent it, and then welded it, put like a lug nut in the end of it so it's not all sharp, and then I ran a bolt through here. I need to figure out either put like a spacer on the inside of that, or do something else, or actually put the nut on the inside, because it's pretty loose right now. So but anyhow, I should be able to test it. I mean, I could yank this thing like all the way back well, not by myself, but with the help of it now. So we'll see if she drifts any better as far as the e-brake goes. Oh, put her in second. No, we don't want second. I think it definitely needs tightened up is what it needs. Cause I basically pulled it all the way to the very back, but it's nice though. I mean, I was able to actually pull it all the way to the back, whereas before it was really hard to get it all the way. Well, actually, I was never able to actually get it to bottom out. For some reason, I feel like it almost, I feel like it almost drifts better in drive, like the initiation, because I feel like the torque converter is not as locked up. I don't know. It's hard to say. Let's see, we'll do. Mustang getting crazy. A Mustang. I mean, it definitely, I feel like I could initiate a lot better. The only thing is, like I said, that whole initiation, and so we're leaving it in drive. It seems like it's doing almost better. I feel like it lets the torque converter unlock a little bit better. Ooh. I don't like how it shifts, because it shifts up to second, but I don't know, not bad, not bad. Now I just need to see if there's any adjustment in the e-brake line, and I think she's almost ready for this weekend. Well, and tighten that up. I just got back to the shop. I had to basically run to my house real quick and grab the trailer. So I'm going to be towing my enclosed trailer with the Silver, the 6.7 Power Stroke. One of the things I didn't realize though is that it doesn't have a trailer brake controller. So this is well, one that I had laying around, or I pulled out of a truck or something like that. But I think this one was actually out of that rolled truck that I got the 7.3 out of. But anyhow, you can see it has this older style plug, but which that doesn't actually work with the newer style trucks, like the newer ones. So underneath the dash is actually a plug, and so I'm gonna have to like wire into that. So I stopped at Walmart and got some stuff so I could de-pin some plugs. But it's just crazy how well this thing tows. Like the power wise, I mean, it feels insane compared to the 7.3. I mean, the 7.3 is just, you know, the old reliable, you know, dinosaur, but it doesn't make a whole lot of power. It's been a while since I've been in this damn trailer. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull that plug out, try to wire it real quick so that I have trailer brakes with this thing. And then I think we're gonna load it up. So David is, he's coming down, or he went and he got my truck in my trailer, the flat trailer, and so he's going to be towing it up tomorrow with the BMW. So I think me and Dave are going to kind of switch off a little bit with the Mustang, depending on how well it goes. But yeah, I still need to mount tires and do a bunch of other random crap, but I just can't get over how well this thing looks, or how pretty, or how good, or whatever you want to say. I just think it looks good. But I'm not going to go super crazy with the prep or bring in a bunch of things, since I do have two cars. If something happens to one, I'll just drive the other one. But yeah, I should probably get loaded up. Well guys, we got an empty shop, and we are getting ready to head up to the drift event. Well, not head up to the drift event. I'm gonna go home, get some sleep, and then drive up to the drift event tomorrow. This thing looks huge in here. Can't believe how big this Mustang looks in this damn trailer. It's like super wide. It almost doesn't fit in between the trailer. So we got the BMW right here on this guy ready to go. And Dave's gonna be driving my truck. Got the tires and stuff loaded in it. Got the 6.7 pulling this guy all fully loaded down. So we'll definitely see how this guy tows tomorrow. So yeah, I guess that's it. Stoked I got the coilovers on, and I might have to do some last minute like alignment stuff for the track tomorrow, but for right now I want to get home, get this video edited for you guys, and hopefully the Mustang does good tomorrow. So thank you guys for watching, and catch you later.